Welcome to Popternative, where we dive into topical discussions from the worlds of pop culture, social media, and sports. Here is your host, Peter Remoliotis, aka PD Beats.
Hello and welcome to the Popternative podcast. This is the podcast where we have digital discussions from the worlds of pop culture, sports, and social media. And for this one-on-one, I'm really excited. I have a professional wrestler with me. I have from Impact Wrestling, I have Moose. Moose, welcome to Popternative, man.
Hey, thanks for having me.
No problem. So you're in the UK right now doing some wrestling shows. You're recently in Japan. Talk a little bit about what you've been up to, some of the wrestling events that you've been partaking in.
Just trying to keep myself busy, man, going all over the globe and extending my brand, I guess you could call it, and extending Impact Wrestling's brand in me. And just having a good time doing what I love to do, traveling across the globe and around the world doing what I love to do.
Perfect.
Fun job.
And when did that start? The, I don't know, like the moose honk or whatever you call it. When did that start up?
It's funny because when I was in Japan, I ran across one of my old friends, Cody Hall, and he kind of like said something that, and it really hit me because he was like, "Wow, Moose, you've been doing this ever since we started training 3-4 years ago, and it's gotten so over." And luckily, I mean, I've never really had any other character but Moose, and I started that little arm signature thing or whatever you want to call it. I started that early in training, and I just stuck with it. And 4 years later, it's one of the biggest things going in wrestling right now.
I mean, it is easily. It's unbelievable, and it's really cool to see. Even right away from when you debuted in Impact Wrestling, there was a lot of buzz and speculation that you have signed with Impact Wrestling, and when you actually came out, you actually had some people, it was like your first appearance, that were actually doing kind of like the Moose chant right away. It must have been exciting that like the brand kind of caught on right away.
Right. I mean, like it was lucky that right before I came to Impact Wrestling, I already had a audience that knew who I was, and thanks to Ring of Honor, because I was there 2 years prior to signing with Impact Wrestling, so I already had a brand, and people followed the brand, and people knew a lot about me. So going to the Impact Wrestling, TNA at the time, I mean, it was an easy transition. Due to the fact that people knew who I was already. So
the transition from NFL you said it was a overall smooth one, but why do you think sometimes athletes have a hard time? There's a lot of reasons. It's really grueling wrestling, but do you find that there's some athletes that do have a hard time transitioning to professional wrestling?
Yeah, I think the reason why they do is because it's one of those things where like for instance, WWE likes getting all these guys who used to playing in the NFL, and they get them because they feel like these guys are the athletes, but they fail to realize that these guys know nothing about wrestling, and they're just coming in just because it's an easy way to make an income, and that's why a lot of these guys fail to be successful, because you're bringing a guy who has no passion of wrestling into the wrestling industry. And I feel like if you have any kind of passion to be a wrestler, and it's something that you wanted to do as a little kid, that once you get into it, then you will succeed in it, compared to if you know nothing about wrestling and some guy is calling you, "Hey, we think you could be a good wrestler because you're athletic." Then you're probably not going to be successful, because you don't know what it takes to be a good wrestler, because you don't know about some of the legends that came before you and what it took for them to be great. You just going off of pure athletics.
No, absolutely. You're a big guy, but you're also a very athletic guy, and I think the wrestling world's taking a transition from just like kind of this big kind of bruiser, really tall guy to guys like yourself Donovan Dijak, Braun Strowman, who are a big presence out there and are really making a name for themselves. And I think being big is it's becoming more and more popular in the wrestling world.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think I guess some of the names that you just mentioned started this big man revolution,
Yeah.
and I feel like that's important. It's because for the longest, some of the big names in wrestling were all little guys, and
Yeah.
I feel like it's getting to the point where now you could name. I feel like it's getting to a point where now fans going to shows wanting to see some of the big guys wrestling, not because of the standard big man wrestling, but we could, if we wanted to. Like I've wrestled Dijak a few times, and it's one of those things that we could go out there and have the same exact matches that some of those cruiserweight have, but we have to keep it realistic because of what our peers might say to us because of it. Because you always get that notion that big men are not supposed to do little men stuff.
Yeah.
So in that mindset, we have to keep it a little bit old school. But I know you mentioned Braun Strowman. I like his work, and I feel like he's a different kind of big man too. He's actually, I feel like he's made it fun to watch generic big man wrestling again. Because for the longest we saw, like back in the day when Kane and the Big Show was in his prime, and Undertaker and all those it was cool to watch those guys wrestle back then. And then for like the last 2-3 years, we haven't seen that style. And I feel like the WWE is bringing that to full circle with Braun Strowman to take the fans back to the 90s era with the Undertaker and the Big Show. And so I mean, that's interesting. That's pretty cool on that standpoint.
I mean, we mentioned WWE, but let's talk about Impact Wrestling. I mean, Bound for Glory is coming up in Ottawa, Ontario, Canada, which is.
I'm actually excited. I'm excited about that. I actually talked to the guy, Raphael, who does our ticket sales, and he said that tickets are going really, 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 really quick. I think they're up to like 1,000 tickets sold.
Yeah,
so
I'm hoping I'm gonna be there. It's in Ottawa, man.
Yeah. I mean, I can't. I'm really excited about this. I haven't been excited for a pay-per-view as much as I am this one. I know the last couple of pay-per-views we've done with Impact has been in Orlando, and nothing against Orlando fans, but I think those fans are kind of spoiled because we do everything there. So I think it's good to get away from Orlando. And you probably don't know the answer to this, but you don't happen to know the reasoning behind Ottawa being chosen for Bound for Glory. It's just like, is there a reason behind that, or were you just kind of told that, hey, Ottawa, Canada? No, I have no idea. The funny thing about it, we all thought, wrestlers and all, we all thought it was going to be in Orlando again, and they told us it was in Ottawa, and it came off as a big surprise. It came off as a real big surprise. Like, it's one of those things where we find out when the world found out, when it got posted on social media. That's when I found out it was in Ottawa. I thought it was going to be in the UK for some reason.
Yeah.
I know there's been talks about doing our next sets of tapings, or maybe our next pay-per-view in the UK, but.
And have you done some tapings in Canada a bunch of times? Have you done some wrestling shows in Canada?
Not since I've been with Impact. No, I've done tapings. I've done shows and tapings in Canada when I was in Ring of Honor.
Yes, and Ring of Honor is another brand that has just made unbelievable names. And you forget that guys like, for example, Adam Cole, Bobby Fish, Kyle O'Reilly, who are in NXT right now, are doing really big things. What do you think it is about guys like that, or guys like Eli Drake and Impact Wrestling Moose, that just they have it going? They're like, whatever you call it, like their brand, their gimmick, their stick. It's it's a fresh kind of almost like a smart alecky gimmick that is really popular, like the kind of like the little bit of the villain as well. Like talk a little bit about what do you think about those type of gimmicks?
I mean, I love Eli Drake, man. I mean, he's something special, especially on the mic. He definitely knows how to connect with his audience, and he knows how to get them going with him, and he also knows how to piss them off. Um, and it's funny that you make the comparison with him and Adam Cole because I feel like, especially on the mic, they kind of remind me of each other.
Yeah.
They have a lot in common, and I mean, I'm happy. I'm happy for how the way Eli Drake's career is going. I mean, he is the global champion for us right now, and he's doing a phenomenal job keeping that title prestigious. And I mean, the sky's the limit for him.
Absolutely. What about you? It seems like the sky's the limit for Moose. I mean, you're doing unbelievable things, and it's so exciting to see you go, man.
Right now, I have a different goal in mind than most. Right now, I told myself that before my 5th year in wrestling, I wanted to be known as top 10 best wrestlers in the world.
Mm-hmm.
So right now, I'm just trying to keep. And the only way that I could get that accomplished is to keep myself busy. I can't be named one of the best wrestlers in the world if I'm just at home on my couch playing video games or watching TV. For me to get that goal accomplished, I have to travel the world and wrestle some of the best guys in the world, and you know what I'm saying. So right now, my focus is on that, and I think with me accomplishing that goal, that's only going to tune more heads into Impact Wrestling. And right now, I know I had this conversation with Scott D'Amore, which he's one of my mentors and also my boss with Impact, and one of my bosses in Impact. And we had this conversation. And I told him what my focus was. Right now, I wanted to be one of the hard working men in the company, and I also want to be one of the best wrestlers in the world. And for me to accomplish that goal, I need to stay as busy as possible. I mean, I know it's a toll on my body, but at the end of the day, I set that goal out for me once at the beginning of this year, and I'm so close to achieving it. So I'm just trying to stay as busy as possible and work for any and every single company that's not the WWE or Ring of Honor, and just to wrestle all the best guys that's currently unsigned.
Are Ring of Honors, are they moved to exclusive contracts like the WWE?
I have no idea what Ring of Honor is doing, honestly.
Okay.
I still have some buddies that's over there, but honestly, contractually, I have no idea what they're doing.
Okay, because you said, well, did you say like, because you were with Ring of Honor? Is that why you said that doing anything else besides WWE and Ring of Honor? Because I wasn't sure if you said that just because we know WWE has like exclusive contracts with wrestlers.
No. I want to wrestle anywhere and everywhere that is not WWE and Ring of Honor. Because obviously with my contract, I can't wrestle with those companies. So.
Oh, yeah, no, exactly. Okay.
Yeah.
No, I understand that. And I've been to a few, when I go to Orlando, when we go to Universal Studios, I go to a lot of Impact Wrestling tapings. And we were at a taping a couple of years ago. I think it was Kurt Angle fighting EC3 for the championship. And that was, it was one of the coolest things to see. Because I love EC3. I think the brand is amazing. I think there's a lot of amazing brands on Impact Wrestling. And I'm pumped that... Oh, sorry?
EC3 is definitely awesome. I mean, he's a good buddy of mine, and I mean, his work in ring and is phenomenal. And he's one of those other guys that the sky's the limit for him, too. I mean, he could definitely do anything he wants in the wrestling business because he's that talented. So.
Oh, absolutely. And we'll wrap up soon because I know you're a busy guy, but like it means a lot for you to take the time to come on the show with us today, Moose. That's awesome of you. Thank you so much.
Yo, no problem at all.
And we look forward to seeing you at Bound for Glory. But couple last questions before we wrap up. One, what could people expect for the remainder of 2017 from Moose, and what could they expect in 2018?
The rest of 2017, you could expect me working my ass off. I mean, I know Bound for Glory is coming up November 5th, and I know what match I'm in, but I can't really state it right now because it'll be it'll be some spoilers with some episodes that hasn't been on TV yet. But I'm gonna have a Bound for Glory is gonna be awesome. That's all I can say. Is you're gonna see another side of Moose that you guys have never seen before, and I have a great entrance that I'm working on, and with the help of some of the guys on staff with Impact, hopefully we can make it come true. And the match I'm in is probably gonna be the match of the night. It's gonna be a lot of hands in it, and it's gonna be a lot of hard work put in, and it's I can't wait, man. I'm really excited for Bound for Glory, and for 2018 and the rest of 2017. I know that I'm well working on a tour with Noah that's on the works. It's not 100% in the books yet, but we're still working on it. And so I'll be going back to Japan at some point and definitely coming back here to the UK. And I just want to keep busy, man, and travel all around the world and do what I love doing, which is professional wrestling.
Awesome. And before I go, can you do it with me very quickly? You gotta do it with me.
Moose.
Moose. Awesome. All the best, man. I wish you all the best, and good luck at Bound for Glory.
Oh, appreciate it.
Well, this has been Popternative. You can catch previous episodes Popternative on popternative.com and our YouTube. Until next time, this is Moose and PD Beats signing off.
Thank you for tuning in to Popternative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popternative on YouTube. Be sure to like Popternative on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.